Have you ever been in a new place or talking to someone you've just met and suddenly felt this overwhelming, spooky sense of familiarity, like you've lived this exact moment before? That's déjà vu, the French term for already seen. For centuries, people have tried to explain this weird feeling. Some thought it was a glimpse into a past life, a psychic vision, or even a message from another dimension. But what if the answer isn't out there, but right inside your own head? Today, we're rediving deep into the fascinating science behind déjà vu and uncovering what your brain is really doing when it plays this strange trick on you. So, let's get one thing straight. Déjà vu is incredibly common. Studies show that about 2/3 of people experience it at some point in their lives, and it's most frequent in people between the ages of 15 and 25. It's not a sign of a mental illness or anything supernatural. It's just a quirk of our incredibly complex brains. But to understand it, we need to talk a little bit about how our memory works. Think of your brain as a super advanced filing system. It's constantly taking in information from your senses, what you see, hear, smell, and touch, and sorting it into memories. There are two main types of memory we need to consider: short-term memory and long-term memory. Short-term memory is like your brain's temporary notepad, holding on to things for a few seconds or minutes. Long-term memory is the vast archive where you store everything from your childhood memories to what you had for breakfast last Tuesday. A key part of this process is a little seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is like the librarian of your memory. Its job is to take new information and file it away correctly into long-term storage. It also helps you retrieve those memories later. Now, imagine this filing system having a tiny glitch, a momentary hiccup. This is where one of the leading scientific theories about déjà vu comes in, the dual processing theory. Normally, when you experience something, your brain processes all the sensory information simultaneously and creates a single, coherent perception of the moment. But this theory suggests that sometimes this process gets slightly out of sync. One stream of information might get a tiny, split-second delay, so your brain processes the same event twice in quick succession. The first signal is registered, but the second one arrives just milliseconds later. Your brain interprets this second signal not as a repeat, but as something familiar, as if it's retrieving an old memory. It creates this bizarre sensation that the present moment has already happened, when really, it's just a neurological echo. It's like your brain is telling you, hey, I've seen this before, but the before was actually just a fraction of a second ago. This one focuses on the difference between familiarity and recollection. Recollection is when you can specifically recall the details of a past event, where you were, who you were with, what happened. Familiarity is a more general feeling that you've encountered something before, even if you can't place it. Your brain has separate circuits for these two processes. The hippocampus is crucial for detailed recollection, while a nearby region, the rhinal cortex, handles that feeling of familiarity. The theory goes that déjà vu happens when your rhinal cortex is activated, giving you that strong sense of familiarity, but your hippocampus fails to find a specific corresponding memory. It's like your brain's familiarity checker shouts, "I know this," but the memory retrieval system comes up empty-handed. This creates a conflict. A weird dissonance. Your brain is essentially arguing with itself. One part says, "This is familiar," while another part says, "But I have no memory of this." The result is that strange, unsettling feeling of déjà vu. This can be triggered by something as simple as seeing a new scene that has a similar layout or contains elements from a place you've seen before but can't consciously remember. For example, you might walk into a new cafe that has the same type of chairs and table arrangement as a restaurant you saw in a movie years ago. Your brain registers the familiar pattern without you consciously realizing it, triggering that false sense of having been there before. Scientists have even managed to induce a déjà vu-like state in a lab setting. One clever study used virtual reality. Researchers had participants navigate through various virtual rooms. Later, they showed them new rooms, some of which were structurally identical to rooms they'd seen before, but with different decorations. When participants entered these structurally similar but visually different rooms, many reported a strong feeling of déjà vu. Their brains recognized the familiar spatial layout from the previous rooms, but the new decorations made them consciously aware that they hadn't been in this specific room before. There's also a connection between déjà vu and a part of the brain called the temporal lobe. The hippocampus and rhinal cortex are both located in the medial temporal lobe. We know this area is crucial for memory because people with temporal lobe epilepsy often experience intense and frequent déjà vu, sometimes right before a seizure. This doesn't mean that if you have déjà vu, you have epilepsy. For most people, it's just a fleeting and harmless misfire, like a tiny bit of static in the brain's complex wiring. But these clinical cases give neurologists a valuable window into which brain regions are involved in the phenomenon. Another fascinating theory ties into our attention system. Think about the last time you were walking down the street while scrolling on your phone. You were distracted, right? The attentional theory suggests that déjà vu can happen when your brain processes a scene with a very low level of attention. For a split second, you're not really paying attention, but your brain is still perceiving the environment subliminally. Then, a moment later, your attention fully clicks in as you consciously register your surroundings for the first time. Your brain has already created a faint, non-conscious memory of it from that split second of inattention. So when you see it for the first time with full focus, it feels strangely familiar because on some subconscious level, your brain has indeed already processed it. It's like watching a movie preview a fraction of a second before the movie starts. So, why does déjà vu seem to fade as we get older? Well, it might be because our memory systems are at their most excitable and, let's say, glitchy during our teens and early 20s. As our brains mature, these neural pathways become more established and efficient. The little misfires and processing delays that might cause déjà vu become less common. It's also possible that as we get older, we become better at distinguishing between genuine memories and these false feelings of familiarity. We learn to recognize the trick and simply dismiss it. It's also worth mentioning the opposite of déjà vu, which is called jamais vu, French for never seen. This is when you look at something you know is familiar, like your own reflection, a close friend's face, or a common word, and it suddenly feels completely strange and unfamiliar. If déjà vu is a false sense of memory, jamais vu is a false sense of newness. It's much rarer, but it's believed to be caused by a similar kind of brain glitch, a temporary disconnect in the brain's recognition systems. Ultimately, déjà vu isn't a paranormal event or a window into a past life. It's a testament to the incredible and sometimes imperfect workings of the human brain. It's a conflict signal, your brain's fact-checking system working overtime. The feeling of familiarity is the initial signal, but the weird, unsettling part of déjà vu is actually your brain realizing something is wrong. It's your rational mind saying, "Hold on, this feels familiar, but I know it isn't." So, in a way, that spooky feeling is a sign that your brain is healthy and working correctly to spot a discrepancy. So, the next time you're hit with that wave of déjà vu, don't be spooked. Just take a moment to appreciate the amazing, intricate, and sometimes downright weird machine that is your brain. It's just a tiny, harmless glitch in the matrix of your mind. A reminder that reality, as we perceive it, is a complex construction, and sometimes the wiring just gets a little crossed. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the mind interesting, do not forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the science of our everyday lives.